Have some new insight into 2028 as the annual National Action Network convention wraps up in New York City. The conference marks a significant gathering of the Democrats' most prominent figures, many of whom faced questions about whether they plan to run in the next presidential election.
Listen, I might. I'm thinking about it.
Are you gonna run again?
You save me a seat, I'll be there.
All right.
Any of these people who are thinking about 2028, I need to see that you're taking 2026 seriously.
I'm going to be more involved than ever before in 2028 because we can't lose.
And joining me now is the man himself, Reverend Al Sharpton, president of the National Action Network and, of course, host of MS Now's Politics Nation. Rev, welcome. Always glad to have you here. And look, it is still early for sure. And with the exception of Pete Buttigieg, who said, save me a seat and I'll be there. Did any of the contenders give you an answer that you thought to yourself after hearing it, this one I'm keeping an eye on, they're definitely in?
I think that clearly the one that had a resounding acceptance by the audience, and these are delegates from all over the country, leading National Action Network chapters, was Kamala Harris. And a lot of that was that people felt that she was the one unfairly treated and that she may decide to go again. She did not say she would, even in private talks. I think she's mulling it over. Who kind of stuck out to me, though, was Governor Beshear, because he was one that would be the most new name to our audiences in National Action Network. And he was he related very well to the crowd, talked a lot about justice. He talked a lot about his church background. His father was a minister. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see where he emerges if he decides to run.
Has NAN done a good job of kind of being a predictor in your mind? They seem to have their minds on the pulse.
Yeah, we usually can predict better the year before, but we're 2 years out. But I think with the critical times that we're in, particularly in communities of color, but even in red state farmer areas, red state voters, the rise of inflation, this war in Iran, where people are dying and we don't know why. Yeah. And a president has been so hostile to voting rights, to DEI. I think that people are going to decide early and dig into a lot of these campaigns. I think 26 is definitely important, but I think people are going to run straight into 26 into 28.
With regard to Kamala Harris, who again got tons of buzz, she was the one who it's been deemed got the most buzz, if you will. She had 107 days and she lost. And so in terms of the fairness of what she experienced 2 years ago, there's a case to be made that it wasn't a fair thing for her. That said, as you know, nobody who has run an election and lost when it comes for president has able to successfully come back and do so again, save maybe Donald Trump, right? So what is the likelihood you think that she calculates all of this and thinks, I am going to forego history and what it would suggest?
I think she's a thoughtful person. I think she'll analyze that. But I also think that she has to weigh in the fact that she received more votes than any candidate in the history of the country other than Donald Trump.
It's true.
So at one level, I think she will see what it is in terms of history. At another level, how do you walk away from having gotten the most votes of any candidate other than Trump? And Trump won't be on the ballot. And Trumpism right now is taking a very negative view by most voters.
You told Politico, I believe it was before the conference, that she deserves a second chance.
She deserves one. That doesn't mean she's going to do it. But I think that she should not be ruled out. I do not think you can judge her by the historic pattern, because she didn't follow historic pattern. She was only given 107 days, and she was in many ways inheriting some parts of a campaign that was not her doing. So I thought it was unfair to rule her out. Does not mean she will run. and it doesn't mean where people will go if she does run. But I think that it's unfair to say that she shouldn't even be considering it.
Do you find there is one or two topics, affordability rather, could certainly be one of them, that those who attended the conference are saying, this is it. If this doesn't change or improve, this is what we are voting on. This is the issue.
Affordability, including in that health care, because what no one seems to be talking about too much, is that the Affordable Care Act has not been renewed.
Yeah.
And people's premiums, I'm talking about delegates to our convention. Skyrocketing.
Yeah.
And people are concerned about that. And voting rights. We're a civil rights organization, very much involved in voting rights. And there is a real war on voting rights. We don't know where the Supreme Court is going to go on Section 2, which would totally take out any impact of the Voting Rights Act that was fought and many people suffered for. And I think the combination of affordability, health care, and voting rights are front and center in the minds of many people.
Yeah, and that Voting Rights Act has stood for, what, 60 years?
Since 1965.
Okay. Reverend Al Sharpton, always glad to have you on set with me, my friend.
Thank you.